We're setting up Rebel Fury, the Chickamauga scenario, and first thing I did was just split up the two forces. That's not right. And now what I'm doing for the Confederates is I split them up by column. So this is column 2-5, 2-6, 2-7, 2-8, 3-1, 3-5, 3-9, 4-0. This is 4-2841, so that's going to be coming on probably on turn 4. And so I think this will make it a lot easier to set up the units. I already have 2 units set up there. I'll just do this explanation for my for the YouTube channel as well. So we just rolled. We did odds and evens. He rolled an even, which was a Union. So he's going to be the Union. I'll be the Confederates. So I'll give you the advice that I've learned from having played this a couple times. Basically, attacking is horrible. You don't want to attack if you can avoid it. What you want to do is you want to force the other guy to have to attack you. So that's your job, is to try to position your guys to try to force me to have to attack you. Now, what you're going to want to do is you have these different corps. Like this is 14th Corps. And these are the different division leaders. That's Reynolds, that's Brannan, that's Baird. They're all part of 14th Corps. So what you want to do is, and this is 21st Corps. What you want to do is try to get these guys next to each other. Try to get the guys that are in the same corps next to each other, because they get a bonus when they're attacking and defending. So that's really big. And then the other big thing is you want to try to get your guys close to your leaders, because you can add these stars to their die rolls. So that's another big bonus. And then the thing about your detachments I found are really useful for blocking the goals of your opponent. So for example, your mission as the Union is you want to get this line open here, this road. That's your job. But I'm blocking, well, this doesn't count. But what I'm going to do as the Confederates is I'm just going to put a detachment on this road here somewhere. It's basically any road that comes down here to this hex. You don't have to count them out, because it's just going to be any road that goes that way is going to work.
Well, I said 30 on the victory conditions.
Yeah.
So it can be any.
It's any of these roads. Basically, when they're saying 30, they're just meaning like you can't go like around down like that. Yeah. But what I'm going to tell you I'm going to do is I'm going to put a detachment on that road. That's going to block it for you. Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to send your cavalry out to try to kill that detachment. And that's what I'm going to do to you. I'm going to try to send my cavalry to try to kill him. But I'll say another thing is that it's very hard to get the strategic victory on this one. It's going to probably come down to a tactical victory, which means like whoever kills more of the other guy's stuff. My mission is I'm trying to go from this hex down here, and I have to free up this road, this path here, going through here to Chattanooga. It's extremely difficult, extremely difficult. So basically, it's probably going to come down to a tactical victory. And is that it? I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, you want to be careful about using your leader's attack bonus, because they get a 20% chance of taking a casualty or something like that. It's so that's a little bit risky. But yeah, it's basically just you want to focus on trying to keep your guys together and in a position where the other guy has to attack you. And I'll say just another thing is like, you want to kind of, as soon as you come off these roads, you're going to go into tactical movement or whatever it's called, which is going to slow you down to 1 hex at a time. So really what you want to try to do is try to block the roads for the other guy so that they can't get, so you want to block these kinds of roads that are coming across the Chickamauga Creek. So you see this detachment's here at this road, so nobody can come across that road. So that's the idea. And the other thing is regarding defensive terrain, all of these woods are defensive terrain. Yep. If you're not in defensive terrain, like if you're here at this open hex, you can build entrenchments, or whatever they're called. But the thing is, you have to be outside of an enemy zone of influence, I think. So this is already too close to the enemy, I think, to build them. I'd have to refresh my memory on the rules. But I think that's pretty much it. It's not that complicated. Yeah. So we've already made a first mistake, which was that we didn't allow for double movement for units that were moving along the road. So we've reset back to the beginning of the scenario, and also we added little coins to indicate the extent of the command range, where we have the coins outside, just one outside of the command range. So it's just highlighting the playable area. So first turn, Confederates only did one attack here, and they failed, so the attacking division had to retreat. Mistakes that Confederates made, I think Walker maybe should have been the one to make that attack against the detachment. I think maybe I should have gotten my cavalry out of the way of this road and let Walker attack the detachment. And then I should have gotten another division into that hex to attack that detachment, because if I had attacked like this, it gets a defensive terrain bonus because all of the attacking units are on the other side of the stream. So I really wanted to have a division in that hex. So that mistakes, but it's this playing it like this is very different than playing against the computer, because the computer played terribly. So it's really a different experience playing against the person. So we just resolved an attack by the Union against that hex right here in the corner, where I had advanced my division to try to attack his detachment, and then he moved up his divisions to gang up on him. And I had made another mistake, which is that I had not retreated this division. I needed to retreat that division so that I could move it to that hex, so that I would have two divisions adjacent to each other. So that was two mistakes on my part. And then so he was at a +9 battle rating, and I was at +4, and then I rolled worse than him. So my guy was blown. He's going to be brought back 2 turns later, but yeah, not a great result for me. So we're just realizing that I made a mistake, which is that I did not add artillery support. I forgot to include it, and so
Should have come down an extra one anyway from the previous turn when we used artillery.
You used it twice?
Well, we both used it twice now.
Really?
In the
Okay.
previous turn we had a fight.
Oh, against the detachment? No.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're both brought down to 13. So I forgot to include artillery support, so that would have brought my net battle rating from a 4 to an 8, and then if I rolled a 2, that gives me a tactical position of advantage. And if I'm at advantage and he's at advantage, it's attack or retreat, which is more in line with my experience having played the digital version, which is that attacking is very, very difficult. So yeah, thankfully he allowed me to correct my mistake. So a mistake we realized I made was I was treating 0 as a 10 result for a while, when it's actually a 0 result throughout all die rolls. We're now on turn 3. I just passed my movement phase, and he just did his last remaining moves. And there's just been a general trend of like my Confederate guys blocking his route of advance with their zone of influence. So just kind of like slowing him up. And I successfully took out a detachment there. And otherwise, I'm just setting up my guys to attack that detachment. And I move my cavalry onto the road. So I was finally able to flip over to redeploy my leader, and it became clear to my opponent the value of being able to have a larger order radius, because I placed a detachment on that road, which blocks his strategic victory path. And so it seems clear to both of us that what you want to do is get your cavalry, both sides want to get their cavalry on that road to free up that road. So I want to get my cavalry over here to kill that detachment. He wants to get his cavalry over there to kill my detachment. And he made the point that if you place the detachment on the last turn, you really give your opponent very little time to react to that. When the game ended, my opponent cleared the pieces off the map before I was able to do a final video. So I wanted to make another video, quick video explaining what happened at the final state of the scenario. So I switched my leader to maneuver mode, and I was able to maneuver my cavalry up this road into Chattanooga, and I had 2 cavalry divisions here, which may have been overkill, but they took out his detachment. And so I had killed basically 3 of his detachments by the end. 2 of them were somewhere on the river, and then one of them was here in Chattanooga. And then on the final turn, I think I sent or second to last turn, I sent one of my cavalry divisions. I think they're divisions. Oh, that seems a bit strange, but yeah, I sent one of my cavalry units to, I think it was this hex, Rossville. And on the final turn, I think it was, he moved up 2 divisions, infantry divisions, to these 2 hexes and attacked my cavalry. And he got a blown result. So that was another point in my favor. So that my score at the end was I had killed 3, or not killed, I had eliminated 3 of his detachments and one blown infantry division, and he had not inflicted any casualties on me. And neither of us had gotten a strategic victory because I had a detachment here and I was unable to clear a path along these roads. It's really like these 2 roads are your major options. I had cleared all the way to Chattanooga, so this was all clear. I really just failed to clear this area. So that's really what I realized is it seems like it's really these 2 roads. Maybe this road, but that's going to be harder. But it seems like these 2 roads are your best shot, and maybe this road in particular is your best shot. Maybe this road for the Confederates to get that path, because you're going to be able to get this road on this side, probably, unless the Union attacks you. But it's really this area that was particularly difficult for me, and it made me realize that maybe what you want to do as the Confederates is really hit here in this area hard or harder at the beginning and be willing to take some blown divisions in order to clear this area out a bit, and then just try to slow him down. That was really what I learned. You're just trying to slow him down, especially around here. I think if you have like a unit parked really along these sides of the Chickamauga Creek, their zone of influence extends 2 hexes, and so you're blocking all of these key hexes here that force the Union into whatever it's called, battle mode, and that really slows the Union down. It really causes a nasty traffic jam for them. So that seems to be the thing for the Union, is that the Union, I think, really wants to hit hard here towards the beginning, so that they can clear out these the zone of influence on these hexes, and that'll make it easier for them to move all their forces up north in order to further block out this area. Another mistake I think the other guy made was he was unable to get his cavalry out to this northern road. He made the point that his cavalry was all the way at the rear of his column. It was as far south as you could get. And so it was just very difficult for him to get it out of there. I think maybe the way to do that is to try to attack here at Rock Spring. And then once your cavalry is free to move around more, then you can move it north. However, I mean, the problem for him is that he only has 1 leader. He was getting the rolls needed to redeploy his leader, but he was redeploying his leader in battle mode. And I think that really screwed him over, is that he didn't, I don't think he switched in his leaders into maneuver mode until towards the very end of the game, when he saw me do it and realized how powerful it was. So I think that was a major mistake for him, having his guy in battle mode. That prevented him from, for example, attacking here to be able to free his cavalry to move up this way. Or maybe he should have, You know, maybe he could have moved his cavalry over this way, maybe. Or maybe the way to... Because the thing is that, you see, these are switchbacks, these little curvy roads. And the rule is, as you cross that hex side, you have to switch into battle mode. So that's going to be like one turn, and then another turn, and then another turn, and then another turn. So this is brutal, moving this way. And it's the same thing here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be 4 turns. You could maybe come here. So maybe you go down south, and that only takes 2 turns. But this is so far away from up north, I don't think you really have the command range. I mean, maybe if you position your leader around here, I think it's a 12 hex leadership. I'd have to recheck, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I think if he had switched his guy into maneuver mode, positioned them somewhere around here, I think he could have moved his units across here and then sent them up this way to the west. And I think maybe his cavalry could have gone that way, or maybe his infantry divisions could have gone up that way to try to defend here. And that would have made it very, very difficult for the Confederates to go for a strategic victory. I think the Confederates can maybe use this road. I don't remember. I'd have to count it out. I think they might be able to use this pass. I don't think they can go this far north and still get the strategic victory. So I think it's like here or here are really the Confederates' best bet. So if he had sent his infantry this way, I mean, it takes a couple turns because of the 2 switchbacks, but once you're past the switchbacks, you've got really a clear shot north. So he could have sent his cavalry and his infantry divisions, and this cavalry would then have had a chance at this road. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say. Yeah, so that attack for him failed. I didn't really make any attacks because I was pretty sure I didn't have a chance at the strategic victory, and I just was trying to save casualties. But yeah, I think Confederates, especially the opening moves, I think are very important. You really want to, I think both sides start with a bit of a major traffic jam. And so it's very important to pick your opening moves carefully to try to, I think what you want to do is you want to try to get a zone of influence such that you slow down the other guy, while at the same time getting your guys up as far north as you can to try to, get the corps integrity bonus, where you have 2 divisions of the same corps next to each other, and just make early. I think the Confederates want to make early attacks around here so that if they get any units, infantry divisions blown, they will get them back before the end of the game, and those won't be points held against them. Anything else? Can't think of anything else at the moment. I would love to play this one again. I mean, with the other guy, we're gonna move on to Hood Strikes North, which is a GCACW game, but I can totally see how playing this multiple times would be extremely interesting to explore the options. Yeah, I look forward to playing this more in person, face to face. It's very different from playing on the computer, just because of the intelligence of your opponent. Although the computer is good because it gives you a bit of a nice way to learn the rules. Although there are some things where I'm not sure the rules are enforced the same as they are in the rule book. I'm not totally sure about that. Oh, one last thing I forgot to mention was that one kind of weird rule is the zone of influence rule, switching your opponent into battle mode. So if I have a Confederate unit here, let's say he has an infantry division here. So it's my Confederate unit, and then his Union infantry division. I think the rule is that any unit that moved into like these hexes, let's suppose this one and this one were both Union divisions in these 2 hexes, and I had a Confederate division here. My understanding is that as his Union division moved into that hex, it would have to switch into battle mode, even though it's kind of blocked from my unit by his friendly divisions. I think that's the rule as written. I think it would do that. So that makes it very difficult for him as the Union to kind of create a blocking force. I don't know if that's the right term. That would allow his units to continue moving north. So I'm not sure what the rationale is. I'm gonna have to think more about that. What the rationale is there, and maybe ask around to see what's going on there. I don't remember. I think these are half-mile hexes. Yes, half-mile hexes. So I guess the idea is that once you're here, you're close enough that you're going to have to be dealing with artillery. And I guess, the idea is like, okay, if I have Confederates in this hex, they can see across this hex and they can shoot at guys that are in these two hexes. I think maybe that's the rationale there for switching into battle mode. But anyway, super fun scenario. I was tired when I played, so it was harder for me to. Unfortunately, I was feeling the effects of being tired, but yeah, I would love to play this again face to face. So I'm looking forward to finding more opponents. And I think that's it.